WOKD, Winter Garden, Orlando.
Welcome to another edition of Real Family Talk. Hello. Welcome to Real Family Talk. This is your host, Jay Real. Hope everybody's having a great Tuesday evening out there. As always, I am always a blessed Tuesday as far as I'm concerned. Love coming out on Tuesdays, talking to the people, talking to the family. We got our normal panels in the house tonight. Let's go ahead and say hello to them. How you doing tonight, Mr. King?
All right. I'm happy to be here with my microphone on. They can hear me. I'm here. Yes, I am.
That's what I'm talking about. How you doing tonight, Miss McCray?
I'm doing all right. I'm having trouble with my earphones today, but it's Tuesday, so I'm blessed.
And we also got Jeremy's in the building. How you doing tonight, Jeremy?
I'm good. As always, how's everybody doing? Feeling good, feeling great.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. It is Tuesday, crazy evening, or week, I guess you could say. A lot going on out there this week. You had the government shut down as of midnight last night. The government's still in the shutdown process. We'll talk about that a little bit. Also, of course, Obamacare is live and in effect as of today. I think we talked last week, and Ms. McCray agreed with me. One of the greatest legislation since the invention of electricity. Is that right, Ms. McCray?
The Affordable
Care Act, right?
Thank you.
I'm sorry. What did I say, Ms. McCray?
You said Obamacare.
Oh, I apologize.
Don't put that propaganda out there. That's what's wrong with people today.
I apologize, Ms. McCray. Obamacare, one of the greatest inventions since electricity began today. So people are excited, man. I want to ask some questions about that as we get rolling into the show. Of course, it was also football weekend. Unfortunately, it's no doubt that I am a diehard Steelers fan.
Unfortunately.
Yes. It is not looking good, man. It is not looking good this year, man.
In your defense, the Giants and a lot of other number one contending teams are looking bad also. So, like I said, I think it's really going to be one of those teams that you did not think would go, like the Oakland Raiders.
Brother, right. I think they like 1-3 themselves, bro.
And you 0-4.
I'm just saying. I can admit we're not going to the playoffs all this year.
And praying about the Oakland Raiders.
But you must be fasting and praying for the Oakland Raiders. Exactly. But man,
but I'm realistic.
It's a rough year, man, out there for them Steelers fans, man. You know, we were in London, and once again they came. The game's a little bit. The ending was closer than what it actually appeared when you watched the game, but. Man, it's gonna be a rough year for the Steelers. That's all right, man. We'll ride out this storm, and maybe we'll get us a great pick at the top of the draft next year. And who knows, man? All it takes sometimes is one good pick, and you'll be right back in the game. So we'll see, man. We'll see. We certainly need to find some offensive linemen. So hopefully we can get a good offensive lineman in the offseason and make some things happen.
We got any cricket sound effects? We got another back there,
brother. You're gonna appreciate them Steelers, man.
Nobody wants to hear none of that. None of that. Sorry.
Sad thing, I feel for Mike Tomlinson. Like he's done.
I don't think he's done.
I don't think he's done.
The Steelers have a good reputation for being loyal to their people. Now they're not gonna pay you a bunch of money. But they're typically pretty loyal, you know. They're going to keep you around. I mean, we're talking about, I guess, 2 bad seasons in a row, you know. But that's coming off a Super Bowl win, too. Mm-hmm. So, you know, we're right around the corner, man.
Which they have. I mean, that's the one thing the one thing I like about them Roonies, they realistic. They know what they're dealing with. They know they got injuries. They know. Yeah. You know, they know all that stuff, so they know it ain't. They got like a good team with a high payroll that just not performing.
Exactly. I don't think it's the coaching at all. They just got to get some players in there that's going to do something. But I'm really not interested in talking about the Steelers. They suck. Let's move on. How about those Eagles, though? They put up a nice fight with the Broncos.
That what they call it?
Is that what you call it?
The Eagles,
fight?
The offense put up a good fight.
What was the score? 49 to 13?
No, it's like 52 to 20.
Oh, 52 to 20.
Yeah, we got 20.
That sounds a little bit better, right?
We got 21. Yeah. You sure want 21?
You want that extra point, brother?
I need that. That field goal.
You want that extra point, brother? You want that extra point?
Well,
huh?
hey man, it's Peyton Manning though, man. What can you say, man? That's one of the greatest quarterbacks. Watching Peyton Manning is really like listening to real family talk. It's history in the making. I'm telling you.
I hear you.
I'm telling you.
I hear you.
That's how it is.
Speak it into existence, brother.
I'm telling you, you're going to look back like, man, I was there when it first started, you know.
Right.
Now look at it. He on ESPN, and they just everywhere. They everywhere.
Did you see their, I guess the documentary about the Peyton?
No, I haven't seen it. I wanted to see it.
Manning?
It was really good.
I haven't
Yeah,
seen it.
Manning.
Yeah.
Really, really good.
What was about the documentary about?
It's
About the
Manning.
dad starting his legacy, and then now he has 2 boys.
Yeah.
I mean, Super Bowl winners, MVPs.
Yeah, it's the Manning. I don't think anybody black saw it, but
No, I'm
don't
sure a
say
lot
that.
of
I'm sure,
people
I'm
saw
sure.
it.
A lot of people.
A lot of
A
people
lot of
like
football fans, yeah.
Right.
Really?
It was a good, well-made documentary. I learned a lot.
It's a 30 for 30. But all of them have been very well put together. But I'll check it out.
Oh my gosh.
I got one question. This is for the audience. It's a local question, something that I've been trying to figure out. Some background on, if you will. Locally in Orlando here, of course, Ricky Waters signed on as the Oak Ridge High School football coach, and I've seen nothing but controversy surrounding his surrounding his employment. And now I saw today he resigned. Can somebody help me out?
What? He did?
He resigned. I'm trying to figure out what is going on with Ricky Waters that he can't coach the football team at Oak Ridge High School. Does anybody know? 407-894-1680
I'll say one
is the
thing.
number.
I know he has no.
407-894-1680 is the number.
I know they say he has no coaching experience. A lot of people assume just because you played the game before that you automatically can coach it. So I don't know if that's the issue or if it's something, the players or the school or what, I don't know. But
that's where you really get your experience from. You go to high school, you go to Pop
But
Warner.
that's the thing.
No,
though.
I wouldn't even say that. I think for
actually-
a guy from the NFL, he's best to have been an assistant somewhere.
Right, but he's never really.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He hasn't had no coaching experience.
Well, no, but I'm saying he didn't even coach though. In terms of the season, like he got put on a leave.
Oh,
and
I didn't
then
know. I thought
he got put on a leave initially, and then now he's resigning.
Oh,
So he's
I
never
didn't-
even coached a game. That's what I'm talking about. That's why I'm so baffled as to what happened at Oak Ridge High School to cause his resignation. It just shocked me. I was like, well, first of all, I didn't even know he was coaching, and then after I found out he was coaching, I was like, well, my goodness, what's happening with that? But man, just local story. Like I said, Oak Ridge High School here. Of course, Ricky Waters is a big name. Everybody knows Ricky Waters, big time player for the Philadelphia. I can't even say it, brother. Philadelphia Eagles.
and you shouldn't just say Steelers. That's
San
the name
Francisco
you need to say.
49ers.
San Francisco 49ers, won a Super Bowl while he was playing in the league. But apparently he cannot coach high school football.
Is it because of his past?
Don't know.
A similar story, Luke. When Luke was trying to be a coach down in Miami, the community, his immediate community was embracing him. It was like the outside folks that were like, no, he can't do this because he was too live crew. And
it's funny. It was like one particular guy who was leading the drive.
Mm-hmm. And now he's been disbarred.
Right. Because like say he was trying to hold his pass against him, but for the people who don't know, Luke has been active in the community down there for forever.
Yeah.
Really. He's been down there helping young men. A lot of them know Chad Johnson came through Luke program. He's put a lot of pros and just the guys that necessarily go to the pros, but it just helped a lot of guys out that have been in the streets.
Some people would say though to use Chad Johnson as an example may not be the best idea.
I don't know why not.
But I don't really have a problem with Chad
the man
Johnson
went to
myself.
he went to college
Yeah.
and had a very good pro career.
I agree with you. I don't really have no problems with Chad Johnson. He's clearly, obviously, he's trying to be a marketing guy, and he's done pretty well, I would think, for himself from a perspective, with the exception of his last little stint down in Miami. But yeah, I mean, yeah.
I think he's all right. I mean, he's been out the league, 2-3 years, and you ain't heard nothing come up about no bankruptcy or nothing?
No.
So he obviously got some sense.
You have not. And I think he now has I think I read the other day, he has a fantasy football gig on one of the sports network these days.
Chad?
Yeah. Yeah. Fantasy football, man. That's big too, man. You guys play fantasy football?
I just ain't got time.
Cricket.
I've done it. I did it when I was dating a guy, and we played together, but I was distracted. Like, if my team, like if your Steelers are playing, but your main guy is on whoever's playing the Steelers, like, you're going for the Steelers.
Right.
But to get your points, the guy on the Eagles needs to score. So
you need him to score.
It was just too much for me because I was like screaming for the wrong team, and he'd be like, "No, you can't scream for them." I'm like, "I'm just enjoying the game." So it was just too much. But a lot of people do it.
Yeah, man. It's $1 billion business these days, man.
Yeah.
To me, it's just too much work. I just want to watch the game.
Yeah. You know what? Really?
I
tell you what's work. I tell you what, I've played a few fantasy sports these days, and work is fantasy baseball, fantasy.
Oh no, I agree with fantasy baseball. I don't even know why they do that.
See, that's work.
I don't even know why they do that.
That's work because
to me, like fantasy baseball on a whole nother level. They play every night.
Right, they're playing every night. Same thing with fantasy basketball. They're playing every night.
They don't play every night. This is a break somewhere.
You get it depends on who your players are, though.
Yeah.
So for so you could literally have somebody playing every night, and so you got to really be on top of switching out your teams. With fantasy football, you can kind of settle into a particular team and a group of players, and really kind of manage those players. And you can play a little bit, but if you just want to kind of manage a good group of players, you can do that with fantasy football, and maybe change the line out, watch out for your bye weeks and stuff. But it's a lot easier to play than some of the other fantasy sports for sure. But yeah, man, I certainly have been playing. I'm a loyal fantasy football player now for at least 6-7 years. So
oh yeah,
I'm a big fan, man.
Are you winning
all the time? Unfortunately, man, in the league that I'm in now, I'm struggling in this particular league. It's
like your Steelers.
Like my Steelers, yes, exactly. Low. Just like my Steelers. We have to pick. We not only pick our offensive players individually, we also pick our defensive players individually. Oh, and so that it gets a little tricky, man.
So not like the team, like the Falcons defense.
You got to pick like the individual defenses, like a couple of linebackers, a couple of defensive tackles, a couple of cornerbacks.
But they get you more points though if they get an interception or something like that, right?
It does, but how often are they getting interceptions?
Right. It depends on who you pick.
Yeah, but it also depends on
you got to know the game.
You got to it also obviously they take tackles and all that kind of stuff into effect. But man, it's fun. I enjoy it. It's kind of a added dimension to watching the game. But yeah, man, we'll keep it moving here. From football talk at the beginning of the show. I always got a shout out. I told you it's the NFL season. I'm always excited, even if my Steelers are losing. I'm just glad football season's here.
So when the playoffs come around and we ain't got no Steelers to talk about, we can actually talk about some real football then, because I know they won't make it to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Hey man, we'll talk about whoever's in the playoffs, brother. More than likely it's gonna be Seattle. Denver's gonna be there.
Most likely.
So
I don't know about Cleveland, it look like Seattle and Denver.
Hey, Cleveland on top of the division.
Yeah. For now.
But yeah, exactly. Exactly.
We'll see how long that lasts.
The Steelers might beat them. They sorry.
All right, yeah, we'll move on, man. Miss McCray, man, you introduced the story to me the other day as well. Why don't you do me a favor and talk about that story? You gotta get some stuff together over there, huh?
Yeah. I forgot.
She's not quite ready, she says. 407-894-1680 is the number. 407-894-1680 is the number.
I do want to say something about I'm proud to know and learn that the young lady who fired the warning shot finally got off. That's what
she did not get off.
No, she didn't get off. That's the story.
That's
I'm
the
trying
story
to
that
get
Miss McCray is going to tell me about.
Actual.
She's going to get the why she does that.
That's the story I sent her.
I had a question I wanted to. I had a question I wanted to throw out. I was listening. I listening to a lot of talk radio, in my travels as I travel across the roads here, and heard a question the other day, and I thought that kind of just made me stop for a second. And I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts on it. 407-894-1680 is the number, as I said. The question was, should we, as black people, care more about what's happening in Africa? Should we care more what's happening in Africa? Over the weekend, they actually had a school shooting in Nigeria. They went in, and some gunmen went into a dorm and basically shot up the school. Just randomly shot people in the dorm while they were sleeping. They went to a classroom building and burned it down, which is kind of what brought about the discussion. But, I mean, for the most of us, I mean, obviously we understand that we come from Africa, but, I mean, what are we, 10, 15 generations removed from Africa at this point? So that we tend to not necessarily pay attention to what's happening in Africa, but is that a downfall of ours, if you will? And this is a general statement about black people in America, that we typically don't care more about what's actually happening in Africa. Is that a downfall on our part, or is that just a natural progression that, at this point, we're really just Americans and we really have no real personal connection to the continent? It is a continent, not a country. I did hear somebody refer to it as a country the other day. I was a little sad. But, but it's a continent. It's not a country. Should we have more of a connection? Is that a downfall on black Americans that we don't? 407-894-1680 is the number. You guys got a quick opinion on that while she's finishing her research here? Or finishing finding her story?
Well, I would say this. In regards to the particular incident, as people, we should just care about stuff like that. I mean, walking into a school and especially you shooting people to sleep. Like, what was the point? I mean, from that standpoint, now as far as just overall, I don't know. It's the best answer I could give. I mean, when I say we all, brothers, I'm talking about people in general. Just humans in general, and. Let me just throw these two sins for a second. If they can run over into the Middle East when something jump off and some atrocities is occurring, why aren't they in Central Africa? Or why haven't they been in Central Africa? Let's say that. Officially, let's say that. Why aren't they officially in Central Africa?
Is there oil in Africa?
Yeah,
a little bit. It's not as much as in the Middle East, but it is something.
It's big time oil. We're actually a top customer of Nigeria when it comes to oil.
I mean, like I say that's why I say why aren't we officially there? I know we're there, we're just not officially there. It's too much natural resources on that continent for us not to be there with our hands and fists and everything.
Between the oil, the minerals that are there, man, Africa's a rich nation, man.
What's that other stuff that's there? What's that stuff that's in Wolverine? That's the antimony, whatever it's called.
Anti-antium.
Yeah,
He said Wolverine, Mr. King. He did say Wolverine.
Yeah, I heard that.
I mean, the point is, Africa has a lot of natural resources that we covet.
I thought we get all that for free. That's why we don't even care to be over there.
Yeah, we don't get it for free, brother.
All the killing that's going on, we causing that. Let's be honest.
That's what I know. That's why I say we over there. We got our hands there, and we got our hands in most of the coups that's there.
See, we ain't controlling the Middle East like we controlling Africa. They've been controlling Africa for some years now, so they don't really care about Africa because they got that. And that's why they don't care about that. I'm sorry about that. That's the truth. Nobody want to hear that. That wasn't interesting.
It is the truth.
So because we have a strong foothold, America doesn't care. But what about black Americans? Should we be more involved and more activate? I can't even talk right now. Should we be activists for what's happening over there and trying to cause change in the way that the country perceives those kinds of conflicts? Is that our responsibility?
Of course we should, but the way America system is set up so that we don't have the time, the money, nor we figure we don't have a way to do it. because, usually we go off of what the TV show. TV show you, it takes 2 quarters a day. We'll feed this little child and give him medicine. You think we do that? How many of us donate to that? Nobody does. And not our community as we should. But, that's really on us, but we feel like it's not because we feel that was stripped away from us. Though Africa is our roots, but we don't take the time to think about it. It's so many other things that we have to take care of in our everyday life, man. I got to pay bills. I can't be worried about the people in Africa.
Right. That's the thing, and I think that's the biggest thing. It's as a people, I should say. Most of us have enough everyday struggles to where we're not so much concerned about someone we've never been. Most of us never gonna go. Nor do we care about. So it's like it doesn't play a part in our everyday life. It doesn't affect us, so it doesn't register with us.
I think that's the main reason why we are so distant, and why we can't come together as a people, because we feel like I got so many other problems to worry about that I can't worry about yours and help you with yours. Right. Versus any other race, they gonna come together and they gonna do it because that's just what they do.
Right, and because you think about Israel, generally speaking, Jewish people. I mean, they're fighting every day for Israel to be noticed and acknowledged, and for the American government to recognize the issues that are happening over there and to seek protection for their particular country. But I think we are just very removed from that. And I think both of you guys made valid points as to why you do get kind of caught up in what's happening in your everyday life to worry about what's happening thousands of miles away in a conflict that for most of us we will never even see beyond what we see on television, but we'll never actually touch down to see what is actually going on. It kind of just threw me for a loop the other day. Should we be more concerned about Africa? 407-894-1680 is the number. Go ahead, Ms. McCray. Talk to me.
Hold on a second. Let me just say this real quick too, though. I think it would be different. Like I won't say the advantage the Jewish people have is they have a focal point. It's Israel. Yeah. So it's like there's no guessing. Like you said, Africa is not a country; it's a continent. So it's not like we can say, I'm going to Uganda to help these people, or I'm going to Somalia because that's where my people are from, or I'm going to South America, or I'm going to Tanzania, Mozambique. We don't have that central point. It's just like, okay, it's Africa. So it's like, okay, well, who I send my money to again? I don't know if y'all really realize, but most of North Africa, I'm not saying they're not Africans, but a lot of them are Arab. Yeah. Because they have the generations have intermingled so much with the Arabs. They're a lot of them are I'll say Arab in nature, I should say, or their physical traits, I should say, are they resemble more Arabs than Africans. You got to start creeping further south. And then when you start getting some of these other countries, let's say like even Somalia and I cannot think of the other country where my friend was from. But anyway, like I said, a lot of them they don't necessarily resemble African people.
Gotcha. Great question, man. Great question. Talk to me, Ms. McCray.
Yeah, we'll move past that one. I had a few comments on that one too, but. Marissa Alexander, for those who don't remember, she was the young lady up in Jacksonville who shot the warning shot at her ex-husband, who she had a restraining order against. He went past that and went to the house. Anyway, she was locked up and has been in jail or serving a 20-year sentence. So far, she's been there for 3 years. A trial judge has now ruled that she deserves a new trial. And basically, they were saying that The lower court judge improperly put a burden on Alexander to prove that the firing of the gun was in self-defense. The defendant's burden is only to raise a reasonable doubt concerning self-defense. The defendant does not have the burden to prove the victim guilty of the aggression defended against beyond a reasonable doubt. So, a retrial has been set. Now the next step is to see if she will be released pending the new trial, and if people continue to put pressure on Angela Corey, who was the prosecutor against George Zimmerman. She has the rights to go ahead and just drop the charges. I mean, she served 3 years already for a warning shot. And that's a whole nother discussion that we talked about with the George Zimmerman killing somebody and this woman firing a warning shot. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Hopefully all this attention will go towards her. I mean, it's gotten to this far that that they're even looking at it, that she got a retrial because she was just sitting there trying to be heard. And then because of the Trayvon Martin situation, people shined a light to her situation. So when you talk about Trayvon Martin not having an impact on things, here's an example. I mean, it trickled down. J. Real, don't look at me like that. It trickled down. This woman's case is now being reviewed, and she possibly can be let go. Mind you, when this happened, she was a week from giving birth. No, she gave birth a week before this incident happened. So she hasn't seen her baby this whole time. So throughout the pre-trial, throughout the trial, now she's serving 3 years so far. So this is a big deal for this woman, Marissa Alexander. So let's keep the pressure and keep the focus on her case to see exactly that she gets a fair trial, and hopefully she'll get out.
I know that's a horrible feeling. 3 years away from your newborn baby?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a long time, brother.
Yes.
It's a long time.
Yes.
And like I said, it was a warning shot from what they said. The interesting part, you said that she can't claim stand your ground here.
No.
So we'll see what the defense comes up with. But interesting. I'm sure if I don't know Angela Corey, but if she hasn't done anything at this point, I doubt that she'll do anything anytime soon. So she's probably going to let this thing go to trial and do their best to get a second conviction.
Mind you, that jury took 12 minutes to convict her. 12 minutes to send this woman using the 10-20 life rule.
Wow.
Which is what everybody was wondering about the George Zimmerman issue. Why wasn't that applied? So it's just all kinds of mess on top of mess. So good luck, Marissa Alexander, her people, her family, her friends. Let's keep that focus.
Definitely.
On her.
Definitely.
Support.
407-894-1680 is the phone number. 407-894-1680 is the number. Yeah, man, I definitely thought it was wrong to send her to jail under the circumstances, especially for 20 years. Like you said, in a perfect world, maybe they let her out and say time served at 3. But certainly she has learned a lesson in this. But knowing our precious legal system, it's very likely that she'll be back in court with a new trial, and we'll see what happens this particular time, but I doubt very seriously they'll pull that trigger.
I had a Facebook poll. I'm sorry I didn't get to ask this in the beginning, and a lot of us want to know, pertaining to this case also, so if the government is shut down, first of all, is my license still suspended? Second of all, how does any of that get taken care of if the government is shut down?
Is any of what taken care of?
Her trial and all that stuff.
Well, yeah, because it's the feds that are shut down. This is a state issue.
Oh, okay.
So she still need to
her
court date.
She's still going to need to go to her court date. Your license is still suspended, brother.
Yeah.
But them cameras are government property.
But again, they're probably state government property,
Right.
not federal government property. Now, if you were in D.C., yes, they probably are federal government property. But more than likely, they're still running. And they're not shutting the cameras down due to the government shutdown, brother. I'm sorry. You still want to be careful if you do decide to drive. Lock your seatbelt. Make sure your lights are on.
And don't be texting.
Your tag is right.
No more texting either. I heard they got the law in October 1st that texting and driving is officially against the law in Florida.
It is, but they still can't pull you over just for texting. They have to catch you doing something else illegal.
Well, you know what?
And then because you're doing something else illegal, they'll pull you over for that. They'll also acknowledge your texting, and then so you end up with 2 tickets.
So that means if you black and texting, you getting pulled over because that's 2 things right there. Simple as that. Hold on, you got dreads and you texting. Whoop whoop. I smelled something.
I know.
Simple as that.
I rode by you
and I just saw you. You was texting. You black. I thought it was something. It's just routine. It's a routine. Like what?
They say DWB is a real offense.
That is a real offense, man. It's sad too, boy, because you know brothers like to text and drive, but boy, you better stop that right now.
That's all right. You can talk into most phones these days, and they'll type it for you.
Well, you can't put that in no Chevy. You can't put that in no Crown Vic, bro. I can't put no, man, I need to hold my phone and look at my phone and text while I'm cruising with one arm out the window.
No.
That's how we do it, right?
No? Some do it.
That's how some do it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying y'all need to start watching out.
Don't do that no more.
Because if you texting right now while you listening to this broadcast, they might get you.
478-94-1680. That's the number to join any of these conversations. Talking about Marissa Alexander and the new trial that she's about to get. We've posed a question related to Africa. Should Black Americans care more about what's happening in Africa? Should we be more concerned? And we're going to add a new thing in the mix, just another news story I kind of wanted to mention real quick. Did you guys hear about the preacher who got shot in the pulpit the other day?
My God.
You hear about that one?
Yeah.
At the revival.
At the revival. The preacher,
that was God.
They say he was preaching at the revival, and one of his main deacons walked into the revival with 2 guns in hand, a shotgun and a handgun. They say he shot the shotgun first, is what I read, and then that obviously at least wounded him. And then he walked up on him and then shot him with the handgun to make sure he was dead.
That was about a woman. I guarantee you that was about a woman.
Well, that's what the new details like that are coming out suggest that the pastor may have, in some way, shape, or form, he had sex with the wife. And then it looks like, according to the story, that somehow or another there was some kind of sex involved with the daughter.
Oh my!
As well. I mean, so who knows? I mean, this is just this is what's kind of filtering out. No, the truth is not quite known yet, but that's what's kind of filtering out. Somehow or another, the deacon found like text messages between the pastor and the wife. And then somehow or another, I heard the daughter might have been involved as well. So I don't quite know what the details are, but you're right. It does sound like
that's just a woman.
It had to do with a woman.
Yeah. Ain't
something real.
No man is gonna go that far over no money, but he will go that far over his woman.
Yeah, that's some person.
That's a woman issue. Person. Man to man, we know what time that is.
You know, when I heard that it was his deacon, because I was like, was this somebody off the street
that
just came into the revival?
Exactly.
But when I read that it
like
was one of the deacons, I was like,
deacon.
That's a backstory.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah.
It's still a sad. I mean, really, in the revival.
I gotta let the people know what time it is. I will blow your head away. You touch mine.
Okay. Well,
I guess he won't be in the pastor reality show.
Okay.
I want to speak on that. So we got a pastor reality show. Really, people? The reality show for the pastors. Have y'all heard about that?
I heard about it.
This is going to be some interesting mess right here. So you mean to tell me, from what I heard, from my lovely sister whose birthday is today. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Yes, happy birthday, Nicole Graham. But anyway, yeah, so what I heard from her is that these people will have entourages following them because that's just what they normally do. One person holds my cell phone, the other one person holds my cape. I don't know, but that's what they doing. And when they go into different pastoral meetings, this is really going to show you the life outside the church for the pastors. I really don't think it would be a good look for any of the pastors that will be on the show. But, you know, it's a check, I guess. I don't know. Why, as a pastor, would you want to be on a reality show? Can any pastor that's listening to me please call and let me know why you would want to be on a reality show? Maybe, you know, because my church needs it. My church would like that. They would like to see their pastor on television, I'm guessing. Ooh. I don't know. I'm just saying it from that point of view, sister. Bear with me. So anyway, and then you got some of the other pastors that, you know, don't want to be on a reality show. If you don't want to be on a reality show, please call and let me know why these fools do want to be on a reality show. Because I don't understand it. Please. It's just a whole bunch of mess. Why would you want your pastor on a reality show? That's worse than having your pastor being an old rapper.
You know, my thing is, you know,
you don't want your pastor, Reverend Simmons.
I couldn't have Reverend Ron Murder Mace as my pastor. It's kind of like, so you mean, I mean, that's like Luke being a pastor. Like, nah, Luke, but I have to stop you on that one. You can play football, but you can't be no pastor, Luke.
But my thing is this. The thing I don't like about it is what it's going to do. One, at the end of the day, really is just another attack on Christianity.
And that's one thing.
Because you already know, I mean, it's reality TV. You know how they go cut it to make them look bad. And it's just going to cast a bad light on the church as a whole, that people don't go to church who don't really know the church, or they already have an opinion of the church. Are going to be like, see, I told you.
And that's what it does. It doesn't, it'll reflect on the main pastors that's in the show, but it's going to show a light on the church. It's not, you know, you got a lot of shows that, okay, it just make those people look like idiots. But in this instance, it's going to attempt to make the entire church look like, look at those, that's why I don't go to church now. You know, and that's why I don't even agree, and I don't even understand why they would agree to be on this show.
Tell me, Ms. McCray, tell me some of the names of these pastors.
The pastor that was killed, his name was Pastor Ronald J. Harris Sr., and the guy who killed him was Woodrow Carey, the deacon. And this happened in Lake Charles, Louisiana.
We were talking about on the reality show, but that's all good.
Oh, I thought you were talking
Ms.
about
McGray.
You had me look up something else.
We were talking about the pastors that's going to be on the reality show.
See?
It's okay.
He told me something else.
What's the name of that show? I forgot.
Pastors of L.A. or
Pastors
something?
of L.A. or something like
It's
that.
going to be pastors of some mess.
It's ridiculous.
It's more than ridiculous.
I know Dietrich Haddon is actually
That's one name that we definitely know is on there.
I know Dietrich Haddon is on there. There's another big-time preacher, too. I just saw him the other day. He's an older gentleman, but you guys will give me those names in a second, because I believe that guy is even engaged or at least dating like Lisa Ray or something, I heard.
Oh, my.
Diamond?
Okay.
I don't know about that. The pastor is dating Diamond?
Let's move on.
Oh, my.
Really quickly, the preachers of L.A. include Bishop Noel Jones.
Yeah, Noel Jones. Now, that's shocking.
Noel Jones, he's the older gentleman, right?
Yeah. I'm that shocking that he's, well, I can't say I know him.
I think he's the one that's.
But he has a good. Yeah, I think he is the one that's dating Lisa Ray.
Dating Lisa Ray.
But you know, amongst the church, he has actually a good reputation.
Oh wow.
Okay.
And the church know that he's dating Lisa Ray? Does she sit in the pulpit?
No, I'm not. I don't mean in his church. I'm just talking about he has a name nationally for being a good speaker and all that good stuff.
And I'm not trying to disparage any of these pastors.
We're gonna move on.
Reputation in the church.
Minister Dietrich Haddon, Bishop Clarence McClendon, Pastor Jay Haslip, Pastor Wayne Cheney, and Bishop Ron Gibson.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. Pastor Jay who though?
What?
Pastor Jay
Haslip.
Oh, okay.
Haslip.
Yeah.
Haslip.
The one thing I think I found it didn't really catch me off guard, but I could see the attack coming. And I saw a clip with I believe it was Pastor
Dietrich
Noel Jones. Oh. And apparently he has a big outreach ministry to brothers in the streets. And I saw a clip one time, and he drove up on the street in a what we would refer to, or they have referred to in the past, a pimped out Bentley. As he drove up on the streets, and some couple brothers is just hanging out in the street, and he got out the car and they were talking and discussing with him. I could just see it. I could just see it now. Somebody commenting
in a pimped out Bentley
that he's driving a pimped out Bentley as he drove up on brothers in the street.
Driving in the
Wow.
Okay.
I can just see it now.
Why does the pastor gotta have a pimped out Bentley? Why the pastor need a Bentley? I don't get me started on that.
But we'll move on, man. We'll move on to the last topic I wanted to hit tonight, which is the government shutdown. I had called in a favor here from a friend to give me her expert. Maybe not. I don't know. She might not want to be referred to as an expert yet, but giving me her opinion about the government shutdown. Miss Jasmine Burney, how you doing, Jasmine?
I am well. How are you? How's everybody?
Hey, Jasmine.
Great. How you doing, Jasmine?
Hola.
Hi.
So talk to me, Jasmine. The federal government has shut down. What do we need to know, Miss Burney?
So everybody wants to know, how does this government shutdown affect them? And I will say first, for anyone who has not voted, this is what it boils down to. Everybody's always talking about voting, elections, vote, register to vote. This is why there are conversations about it. This is exact evidence of why we need to pay attention to all levels of government. This is why we need to vote, and this is why we need to pay attention to who we're voting for and who we're not voting for. Because the same people that have made the decision to shut our government down are the same people that we didn't pay attention to in year 2010 when we fell asleep and did not exercise our right to vote in that midterm election. These are those same congressional members that are affecting us today. This government shutdown is affecting everyone across the nation, but I want to talk particularly about how those effects are here in Orlando or Central Florida. Number one, Social Security is not going to be affected by this. People who are on Social Security will still expect to receive their benefits. Our president signed an order on last evening making sure that all those who are currently employed in our armed forces, they will continue to receive their paychecks as well, because we do have to stay secured while this process is taking place. We don't want our armed forces to be off the job and get to go home, and we have national security to deal with. Our president will actually still receive his salary while this is taking place. That cannot be suspended. But what will affect us are programs like WIC, and that is a food service program that's provided to women with children that gives them milk, cheese, and items for necessary nutrients. Those individuals would not receive those benefits. And I can't say that they won't receive them this month because I don't know how long this shutdown is going to last.
Right.
And we don't know. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, right. And it's the first of the month, so.
And we don't know, how long people are going to be out of work. The Orlando Sentinel did a breakdown today to show how this shutdown affected us directly. And they stated that only 9 employees of the 2,078 employees were able to report to work today. Because the rest of the 2,000 plus employees are federal employees who receive paychecks from the federal government, not able to go into work. We have national parks. Of them, only 5 of the 43 employees here in Orlando were only able to go into work today. You have the Social Security office. They have 96 employees here who are currently being furloughed, and only 20 are able to go into work, and their duties are non-essential, non-relative to any of the actual needs that we need taken care of in the Social Security office. So those are direct impacts, and they happen literally overnight. People woke up and had no jobs to go to this morning. A very, very sad but tragic and real circumstance. and it's because our congressional members could not come up with an agreeable budget that allowed us to pretty much bypass this government shutdown. So we are feeling it in all types of ways, and it's only day one, and the impact is going to only get greater from here unless more serious conversations take place. But the bright side of things is we don't have government employees in work today, but everybody gets health care.
Yeah.
So that's the bright side. I can only imagine what Jimmy's face looks like right now.
You already know, Jasmine.
You know what? I told y'all last week, man. More power to the people, man. You can get health care. From what I heard, though, most people had, because there were so many people trying to get on the exchange websites that they've built, that most people had trouble even, kind of getting past the initial setup stage, let alone actually be able to begin examining and picking plans. Give us a call if you had success with it today. 407-894-1680. I'd love to hear from you. See what kind of, just get general idea of what your situation was and sort of what the payment suggestion was based on your situation. Love to hear what it was. Let's just see what the real deal is and not just the estimate from the quote-unquote nonpartisan foundation. But hey, man, more power to you, man. Like I said, it's going to be great from the user side, but we'll see what it looks like 5 years from now from the federal side. That's going to be the real question. That's going to be the real question, Miss Bernie. I told you that already.
I agree. The only thing I say, it's a law upheld by by our National Supreme Court, and if you don't have health insurance, you're going to be penalized for it no matter what your feelings are towards it. So just make sure that you become insured.
Right.
Right. And just kind of piggybacking, I've been listening to a lot today. It's surprising how many people apparently aren't even aware that that's going on, that you have these exchanges out there and that it's mandated that you're going to need to buy some kind of health insurance. Otherwise, you're going to see some kind of penalty applied to you in the near future here. That just blows my mind as much as it's been everywhere.
But you know why?
Why?
It's because the propaganda, they've been pushing it as Obamacare. Mm-hmm. There are skits, there are polls out there. When you talk to somebody and they say, hey, do you know what the Affordable Care Act is? Yeah. Would you be for it? Sure. Would you be for Obamacare? No. That's socialism. No, I won't do it. Do you know it's the same thing? No, it's not. There are polls out there. Jimmy Kimmel did a funny skit. I mean, it was funny because it's Jimmy Kimmel, but it's sad at the same time because that's the truth. That's why people don't know about it. They're just stuck on, it's Obamacare. That name alone, they just automatically turn off. They shut off when it's going to help them. So that's why I always roll my eyes at you and anybody else who says Obamacare, affordable. Okay, say it with me. Come on, everybody.
And the best way to put it is you should tell people, no matter whose name is on it, the IRS is going to put your name on the penalty list.
How about
if
that?
You don't have it.
Yeah.
Right.
But they don't even know it.
And they don't know, but there's good and bad to all of that, but it's out there. It's out there for you. You got that penalty coming if you don't get it, and you'll deal with it and figure out what's going to be the best thing for you, sooner or later. You're going to find out. What do you think about the piggybacking on what we initially brought up was the shutdown? Mm-hmm. So I can assume where you are on this. But do you hold fault to anybody in particular on this situation? Do you think the Republicans have any kind of valid arguments here, or you think this is just more or another opportunity to shut down the president?
Bring the heat, Jasmine. Bring it.
I honestly and truly, I don't like to always bash or disagree with the other side. But in this particular instance, there was a clear and blatant need to shut down the government because of their dislike for our president and the fact that Obamacare did start today. The reason I say that is also because we've had since January 15th of this year to come up with a serious agreement on how to take care of this budget. We pay these individuals 6 figures each to work in our congressional office and use those skills and capabilities, a lot who are armed with degrees in legal fields and staffers galore, to come up with serious resolutions to issues like this. They've had since January to do it and refuse to come up with an actual budget that our president could sign. Now, we were dealing with this, like I said, in January up until midnight, and they voted to extend it up until yesterday. And there still wasn't a resolution. Right. There wasn't one because they didn't want to have one. They wanted to get you, they wanted to affect you in some form or fashion, and this most certainly helped with the effects of how they felt towards our president.
Now, I mean, if you listen to their arguments, of course, a lot of their arguments, one of the most recent compromises that they made, at least as far as they're concerned, they asked for the individual mandate to be delayed because one of the arguments is you've seen waivers given to different large corporations on Obamacare being implemented within that corporation as far as offering all of their employees health care in some form of fashion. We've also seen waivers given out to different union organizations as well. So you got the waivers have been given out to staffers of the congressmen. And so their argument was, okay, we'll fund it, but can we just give everybody some of these waivers that you've been handing out to different individuals? What do you think about that argument? Do you think there's any validity in that, or?
Well, here's my thought on the waivers. I feel like everyone should have an ample amount of time to fully understand what this is, considering the amount of people, 80 to 85% of the American population is not aware that this is taking place. There should be enough time for people to be able to digest this information, understand what options work best for them, and to make sure they know what is happening, because this is a huge deal. You know, this is the first time it's ever happened for us to have universal health care. So a lot of time should be given, and I do agree that those waivers should be given to everyone so that they have that extended year or period of time before that mandate affects them.
Oh, so then you'd agree that at least in their latest proposal, they're not being too bad.
They're not being too. They're not too harsh. They're not being too. They're not asking for too much. But here's the other part of it, though. We get that extended mandate, but we still have individuals who are uninsured going into emergency rooms and spending $20,000 on or charging up $20,000 on medical care that we still have to pay for anyway.
But let's be honest. That's going to happen even with the law implemented. So we're not really changing anything there. We're just, again, like they said, they're delaying it. But what I find interesting is even that is a non-starter. They basically say you either do it our way or there is no way, which is I think one of the sad things in all of this. I mean, I agree with you. I'm not big on the government shutdown either. I mean, I get what they're doing, but I think they'd be better off just playing ball, because I mean, at the end of the day, it's gonna happen. It's already started. You might as well fund it. I think you do a lot more justice to your cause if you fund it, and then if you believe it's gonna fail, watch it fail. And then do whatever you can do from there. I heard one suggestion today, go ahead, implement it. If you believe it's going to fail, then it'll fail. And then 3 years from now, there'll be another election, and it'll be more fuel to the fire to maybe reelect Republicans back into office. And then at that point, maybe they can get themselves together and repeal it or whatever the case may be. But I agree with you. The government shutdown, it's not doing anybody any favors for sure, and it's certainly not scoring any cool points.
No, it's not.
For them whatsoever.
You're going to have a lot of people calling up these federal agencies looking for checks, looking for, their monthly allowances on whatever government assistance they receive. And the one little glimmer of hope that I think, and this will be my last comment, that I hope comes from this, is that this will wake up more people than any grassroots organization will have the ability to do, because it is now affecting people in their pockets. And we don't have to put that on the news for you to know that. We don't have to send you a ton of flyers. We don't have to beg you to come out and vote to learn that. All they have to do is tell you you're not getting a check, and an uproar will begin to ensue. And you will then begin to ask questions. You will then want to start making calls. You will then want to get to the bottom of who, what, when, and where, and why. I hope that is what comes from this, and it sparks an interest that people want to now start to pay a little more attention to what's happening in their local governments, because they know that it's affecting them in their pockets.
Absolutely.
You know, that hope, the dream.
See, here comes the cynicism.
You're
so cynical.
I share none of that. I mean, you're right. People will notice. You know, some people will notice some of the different changes that are occurring. But at the end of the day, when it comes to the federal workers, they didn't have to go to work today. And we'll see how long the actual shutdown lasts, if it lasts a week, if it lasts 2 or 3 days. But when they go back to work, they're going to get a check that's retroactive that pays them every little bit of money that they lost. So really, they're getting sort of an unpaid vacation.
That's not laid out yet, though.
Sorry?
That's not laid out
No,
yet.
it is laid out. They always get paid retroactively for the money that they missed. Yes, they do.
Not the articles I read.
That's what happens. Come on, it's the government. The government is going to do that. They're not going to not pay these people because they look even worse than they look now. So they're going to get paid their money. The WIC checks will eventually get cut. And so once the faucet turns back on, we're back to being ignorant, if you will. And enjoying our lives and
no hope.
Forgetting what was, you know. At the end of the day, because at the end of the day, what drives people out is not the issues. Unfortunately, what drives people out is some kind of emotional attachment to what's actually happening, which we clearly saw in the last 2 major elections that we had anyway. And we'll see. So if they have a personal attachment for the people, come 2016, I think if Miss McCrae gets her way, that'll be all the personal attachment she needs.
Here we go.
And she'll be fired up again when Hillary Clinton runs.
I'm gonna be fired up in the primaries, in the general election. Like we have a huge election coming up next year. Like it's starting now.
It's starting now. That's what I'm talking about, Miss McCrae.
Don't play me. Don't play me like that.
When I'm not talking about you specifically, Miss McCrae. I'm just talking about one of your favorite candidates. But yeah, that's what's going to move people, is if there's some kind of personal attachment to who is actually running. Unfortunately, most people don't know the issues. They don't learn the issues, which is why I think what we do and what other shows do, talking about the issues that are going on and why they're important, is so important to the cause, so that as we blast you over and over again with these same issues, you wake up and go, man, I need to do something about this thing. I need to check and see who's actually running, because the one thing I advocate, let's forget about Democrat, let's forget about Republican. All of them are bums for the most part, and so we have to we need to weed out the bums and vote for some people who are actually going to make changes, because for the most part they're riding on their horses and not making decisions that are going to really help people. Is that right?
You're correct.
Sound about right.
Looking for people who can make compromises, not just changes, but compromises.
Right.
Those changes.
Exactly. Ms. Bernie, man, I thank you for calling in at the last minute here for me. I appreciate you.
Absolutely. Anytime. You all have a great evening.
All right, you too. We're wrapping up here. This is what the good brother Jeremy is telling me over there. It's time to wind down. So as always, man, we want to thank you for tuning in to Real Family Talk. We will see you next week, Tuesday, 9 p.m. Have a great week. Follow us on Facebook, Real Family Talk. You can follow us on Twitter, Real Family Talk. The website, realfamilytalk.weebly.com.
WOKB, Winter Garden, Orlando.
It's Gospel 1680 WOKP, your urban empowerment and inspiration station. We getting ready to go in. We getting ready to make it do what it do, like this. Richard Smallwood, anthem of praise right now on Gospel 1680 WOKP. Don't miss it. Don't touch that dial. You do not want to miss out on this special program tonight. Keep it locked.